Hello everyone. I'm going to take you through our monthly costs of living in Spain, and I'll just use a few slides here to illustrate the key points. So the main things that I've grouped into separate headings are our household and utilities costs, cost of running our car and transport, food and groceries, our bars and restaurants for obviously entertainment, and then just a miscellaneous amount that we just put aside to cover any unexpected surprises. So I'm going to get into these individual to show you our actual costs to let you see for yourself what it costs us to live in Spain. So let's have a look at a breakdown of our household and utilities costs. So we pay council tax here, €156.58 per year. Yes, that's per year, not per month. We work in about just over €13 a month for that. So you can see there's a massive saving compared to what we were paying back in Scotland. We have a bin tax, which is €76.63 every 6 months. That works on about just €12.77 a month. Our bins get emptied every single day, and we have great recycling facilities in the village as well. We pay community fees of €44.33 per month, and that covers the maintenance of the outside of the village and the courtyards. So all the planting, the gardeners come twice a week. It maintains the fountains in the courtyards, the community pools, and everything is kept in really good condition. So that's good value for money as well. We have a water bill, which we pay every 2 months, but it averages around €21 a month for our water for the house. We have house insurance, which is €160 a year. So again, just over €13 a month for that, and it's a good policy that covers agreed value for things like jewellery, watches, bicycles, these kind of things. So good level of cover for not a lot of money. Our electric bill, on average, over the year works in about €90 a month, and that covers the use of aircon in the summer months and using the aircon units for heating when it does get a bit cold, because it does get cold here in the winter because the houses aren't insulated at all, because obviously they want to stay cool. Now, when I compare that back to our bill in Scotland when we lived there, we were over £200 a month for our gas and electric. So we don't have any gas bill here, only electric. So again, big saving there. Our internet is just under €25 a month, and that gives us up to 600 meg of speeds, 600 meg of speed. We've always had great service from the internet, right from the day we contacted the company to fit it. We phoned them one day, and they were out the next day installing it all. And the installer was here for 3 hours, making sure that no cables showed at all. So there's no visible cables anywhere in houses in Spain. There's ducting to run it all through. So he took 3 hours to do all of that, cleaned up after him, so can't fault that great quality of service. And then finally, we have our mobile phones. So we pay €22.50 a month for 2 phones. That gives us 5 gigabytes of data each, unlimited phone calls, both within Spain and Europe and to the UK as well. And when we travel to the UK, we do get a generous allowance when we're over back visiting in Scotland. So overall, these are the sort of main monthly costs that we have. Let's have a look at the next one. So the next thing I want to look at is transport and car. We have our car here. When we looked at the cost of cars here, they are really expensive compared to back in the UK. So we decided to re-register our car here in Spain. Now, I had a great company that helped us with that. Car registration Spain, which is just outside Los Alcaceres, where we live. They handled everything for us. Did the whole thing for about £1,000, and I'd highly recommend them if you're considering doing the same thing. So the cost to get the car changed was about, as I say, just over £1,000. But to buy an equivalent car here, it would have probably cost us somewhere in the region of four to maybe 4,500 more to get an equivalent car than we had. So overall, it made sense for us. So for the car, we've really only got car insurance, and the car insurance is €330 a year. So that works in at €27.50 a month. And the interesting thing about cars here is that it's the car that's insured, not the driver. So the car's insured, so any driver over 25 can drive the vehicle here. And the other thing that is automatically included in car insurance here is breakdown cover. So you can't buy car insurance here without having the breakdown cover. So again, we had to buy that separately back in the UK. It was costing us over, another £100 a year to get breakdown cover through one of the main providers. But it's all included here, so there's another bit of a saving there. So £27.50 a month for the insurance. And we spend on average about €80 a month on fuel. Fuel here works in at, our average cost here has been about €1.40 a litre, which probably works in about £1.18, somewhere like that. Certainly between £1.15 and £1.20 a litre. So again, saving 20 to 30p a litre every time. So these are the costs of running our car here in Spain. We also, just as a little bit of a safety net, we just allocate €50 a month to cover, servicing and the MOT equivalent, which is the ITV here. The ITV test is done every 2 years here. And I do all the maintenance myself, so luckily we don't have to pay anyone to keep the car on the road. I do that, so bit of a saving on that one as well. But I did that back in the UK, so it's not as if I'm saving any extra money than I would if we lived still in Scotland. So let's see what's next. I next want to have a quick look at food and groceries. We shop in sort of 2 or 3 supermarkets, and we tend to go once a week. So we allow, for supermarkets and shopping, we allow €80 a week. Now, I've got a couple of examples of how food prices compare between here and the UK, so I'll show you that later on. But for the minute, we allow €80 a week to cover our shopping, so it's £320 a month. We allow, for bars and restaurants, for going out, we allow €70 a week, so that's £280 a month. Now, it's worth noting that, when you're on holiday, you tend to eat out and drink out quite a lot. But when you come and live in a place full time, it's really, really important that you get out that holiday mindset as quickly as you possibly can, because otherwise you'll bankrupt yourself. It's just not feasible to go out and eat every single night. Although it's cheap here, you need to have a lot of money to be able to do it every single night and day. So bear that in mind if you are coming to stay here, that we eat in most of the time. We just cook at home, and we have lunches mostly at home, and we sit outdoors with coffees and drinks. We do go out every day. We'll have a coffee somewhere. We'll have a small beer, but down by the beach. We'll grab lunch and we go for meals, but you just don't do it every single night when you live here. So keep that in mind. So we allocate €70 a week. That covers us usually quite adequately. We then have a little bit of a safety net. So quite apart from our savings, we allocate €100 a month separately, just as, I don't know, call it rainy day money, emergency money, call it what you like. But we just sort of budget that separately in a separate little account in the event of unexpected bills coming through, because we don't want to keep diving into our savings every time we need to buy something. So we tend to budget for that. The next slide I want to take you through is all those totals added together to give you a total amount, and then convert that into pounds to let you see our total monthly living costs for living in Spain. So totaling everything up, we have household and utilities, €241.92. We have transport and car, €157.50. Food and groceries, €320. Bars and restaurants, €280. And then we've got this miscellaneous of €100. And you can see I've put in brackets the conversion rate in pounds of round about €1.20 at the minute. I'm getting about 120, so I've just used that as a calculation. So our grand total here every month is €1,099.42 per month, and that's £911. So you can see that's everything we need to live here. We do have little incidentals here and there, things like the odd visit to hairdressers. We buy the odd bits of clothes, but we'd be doing that back in Scotland anyway, so I haven't really added those in here. And bear in mind, we do allocate 150 a month just as miscellaneous, so we can sort of dip in and out to that as well. Let's have a quick look at a comparison between grocery shopping here and what we would have paid for the same things back in Scotland. So this is our food and groceries, an actual grocery cost for 1 week. So I've taken receipts from our shopping to quickly upload those and then make a comparison with an online shop at Morrison's at the end. So we've got a receipt from Consume, a receipt from Mercadona, and a receipt from the Overseas Supermarket. Now, we seldom use Overseas Supermarket. It's a shop that imports all of the sort of shopping stuff from Iceland and Waitrose and the Co-op and all that sort of stuff. They're a bit costly, but a lot of people go there and buy all their shopping. We just tend to go to Consume and Mercadona, which are local Spanish supermarkets like Asda, Tesco's. So this receipt from Consume was for €33.89. You can see everything's in Spanish, but it's just general grocery stuff. There's a bit of fresh ginger, bit of turnip, crispy chicken burgers, cheese slices, eggs, sesame oil, all just various bits and bobs that we use for cooking. So that one's $33.89. Mercadona receipt was for $38.69. You can see the first item on that is two agua. They're the big bottles of water. You can drink the water in Spain, but we feel there is a little bit of a metallic taste to it, so we just buy bottled water. They're not that expensive. These are like 89 cents for 8 litres. So I haven't included buying water in Scotland because we obviously wouldn't have bought it there. You can see there the Cerveza Clásica. Now that's 12 cans of local beer, 330ml cans, 12 for just under €4. So it's fantastic value. Then potatoes and peppers and pertomatoes and all. So just 10 general grocery stuff that you would buy, $38.69. And then from Overseas Supermarket, we just had to buy a few bits and bobs that Trisha was doing a little bit of baking. So we went in there to buy those, but that was €11.20 in there. Total weekly cost for groceries was €83.69 in euros. and that was buying in the overseas supermarket that we don't normally go. That's 71.20 at the exchange rate at the time when we did it. So I thought, as a comparison, I would go on to Morrison's online and find all the equivalent items and add them to the basket and see how much it would have cost if we bought that back in Scotland. So we ended up with a basket with 30 odd items in it. I've only got 2 screenshots of the start and the end of it here. But what you can see here is that for the same items ordered online for Morrison's, and not including the water, would have been £73.78. So, only a couple of quid difference in groceries. What conclusions can we draw from that then? So these were just the sort of my summary findings that I thought would be worthwhile adding into the video. So overall, our monthly living costs are much, much lower than those in the UK. Council tax and electric alone, back in Scotland, we were, 450 quid before we did anything. And I know we had a slightly bigger house, but we're still making a massive savings when you look at the cost of council tax and electric here. It's probably a third of that. However, there is only a very slight difference of around a couple of quid between the weekly groceries cost in Spain versus those in the UK. Now, overall, when I've done comparisons, I find that the grocery costs here are about 90% of what we were spending back in the UK. Things like fresh meat, chicken, pork, beef, etc., are quite expensive here. And surprisingly, the fruit and veg is expensive, and that kind of pushes the prices up. So overall, you're only going to save a couple of quid a week in grocery costs. And also bear in mind that we will need to pay a small amount of income tax on our pensions here, and we've roughed it out probably about £100, €100 each per month. The tax thresholds in Spain are much lower than that in the UK. Although, reading what I'm reading in the news at the minute, it looks as though the Labour's going to have another bit of a tax raid on pensioners and on ISAs. And when the next pension increase comes in, they're not increasing the tax threshold as well. So it looks like pensioners are going to start getting taxed in the UK as well. Overall, we are much better off living in Spain. There's no doubt about that. Also, our quality of life is much better here. We have a much more active social life here. We know an awful lot more people. We've got a lot more friends here, and people that you can text, call, phone, and meet up with them regularly. Everybody in Scotland tended to be busy, probably because they're working. So we'll give them that. Our health has improved, and we walk, we swim, we play sports, and we use our motorcycle much more than we ever did living in Scotland. So, in summary, we've no regrets, absolutely no regrets about coming to live here full time. And whilst we are living here, we're certainly going to make the most of it. And I'm sure you will too. So there you are. That's a breakdown of our total monthly costs and the cost of living in Spain, certainly for us. Now, I know that everybody's different and people will all have their own views on the cost of living in Spain. I'd read somewhere in another forum that somebody said they're struggling to live on €8,000 a month. And you think, well, what kind of lifestyle have those people got if they can't get by on that? We comfortably get by on around £1,000 a month, which converts to about €1,200. And we have a good life, we have a great lifestyle, a fantastic quality of life, and we're not that interested in things here. That's the big difference for me, is that back in the UK we just earn more money and bought more things. Here we don't need things, we have experiences, and we get out and spend time with people and spend time outdoors. So I hope you liked that little video. I've been promising to do that for a while. Quite a lot of people have been asking me for it, so I thought that I would get it done for you and get that posted. So as always, please like and subscribe, and take time to comment. I do read all the comments and I do try and answer them. So we're almost at the 2,000 subscribers. Just need a few more to get us up to that target. So if you are watching the video and you haven't subscribed, just do me a wee favour. Just down and click on the subscribe button so that the content gets to more people that want to see it. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video. Hasta luego.